Greetings to you this day. This is Michelle Strickland, and I'm coming to you today with the daily social skills lesson. What we're going to talk about today, we're gonna talk about handling peer pressure, and I'm going to explain what it is, and I'm going to give some examples of how to deal with it. I want to talk about something that affects us all at some point in our lives: peer pressure. Peer pressure is an influence exerted by a peer group encouraging individuals to change their attitudes, values, or behaviors to conform to those of the group. We got to watch that. It's a powerful force that can shape our decisions, sometimes leading us down paths we might not have chosen otherwise. That's why we got to really screen people. You know, I'm not saying don't interact with people. I'm not saying that. But how do we handle peer pressure? How do we stay true to ourselves while navigating the sometimes overwhelming influence of our peers? Firstly, it's important to recognize that peer pressure comes in many forms. It can be subtle, like when your friends, make jokes about something you don't agree with. Or it can be more direct, like when they pressure you to try and do something that you're not comfortable with. Regardless of its form, the key is to stay grounded in your own values and beliefs. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Especially if you feel uncomfortable with that. And if people don't have a problem with that, you need to, if you can, or in a situation, you need to depart from their presence as soon as you're able. One way to do this is by practicing assertiveness. Assertiveness means expressing your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in a respectful and confident manner. If they don't like it and you're being respectful, that's their problem to deal with. When faced with peer pressure, assertiveness allows you to communicate your boundaries clearly and assert your own autonomy. Everybody, I had to learn that the hard way. People used to try to boss me around because I don't like confrontation, but I'm over that. For example, if your friends are pressuring you to engage in risky behavior, you can firmly but politely decline, explain that it goes against your values and you'd rather not participate. You don't have to be that square with it, but just say, hey, I don't feel comfortable with doing that, and just go from there. And if they feel uncomfortable with you saying that to them, there's something wrong with them. I would depart from them as soon as you have an opportunity, and really assess whether you want to, be around them people again. Another important skill is handling peer pressure. Another important skill in handling peer pressure is building a strong support network. And that's important. I have just who I need. I don't have a whole lot of people in I try to keep a minimal amount of people in my network. And those are the ones that I feel like are not going to mistreat me and try to take advantage of me. And that is very few people that I interact with real close. I do not. I make that a point. Now, if it's business related, that's totally different. I got situations set up for that. And that's different than being, having discussions with me personally, because I don't want to be around a whole lot of people with a lot of my personal and emotional. I don't want to give people too much, access to me personally, because you got to be careful for that. I'm not saying don't join groups or, that you feel that you connect with. I'm not saying that, but just be cautious who you allow. Watch these people in these groups and situations, and make sure that it's no ulterior motives behind these groups, and be willing to stand up, and if it's something you don't feel comfortable with, be willing to say that and leave it. So let me say this again. Another important skill in handling peer pressure is building a strong support network. Surrounding yourself with friends who share your values and respect your boundaries can provide a buffer against negative peer influence. These friends can offer encouragement, advice, and perspectives when you're faced with difficult decisions, helping you to stay true to yourself even in the face of peer pressure. So let's just kind of finding people that have good values and stuff like that. And there's people out there, there's groups out there. Just, you know, take your time and just find what best works for you when you want to go socialize with a group of folks, you know. Lastly, remember that it's okay to say no. It is. It's okay to say no. I had to learn that the hard way, but, you know, saying no doesn't make you weak or uncool. It shows strength and self-respect. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and make decisions that align with your values, you know. Even if it means going against the crowd. So you got to be willing to stand for yourself sometimes. Sometimes we have to stand alone, and that's just how it goes, you know, unfortunately. You know, if it's something that you don't feel comfortable with, go with that, you know. In conclusion, peer pressure is a powerful force that can influence our decisions and behaviors. But it doesn't have to control us, you know. And when I feel like people are trying to control me, I try to deal with that right then and try to find out where is that coming from, because I'm not going to be controlled by anyone but God. So if I see that in people, I want to try to explore that avenue. And if they seem like people that I don't want to interact with, you know, then I stop communication with them. It's just that simple. By practicing assertiveness, building a strong support network, and prioritizing your own values and beliefs, you'll be able to navigate through peer pressure with confidence and integrity. You know, my thing is I want people who are, you know, legitimate around me. You know, people who are upright, standing upright, moral people with good judgment, you know, that make sound decisions and things of that sort, you know. I'm not telling them to be perfect, but if they're not on that format, I'm not going to deal with it. Have I dealt with people who weren't? I've tried to date different people from all walks of life, and I know what I don't want. That's for sure. But the only way to find out is by meeting people. I mean, you know. So let's stand firm in who we are and make choices that reflect the best versions of ourselves, you know. I think people need to start find themselves, you know. I had to find myself again. You know, sometimes we think we know who we are until we're faced with some real adversity. Then you figure out what you're really made of, you know. So when you're trying to form these partnerships with people, just try to screen them. That's the only way, you know. The only way is to be involved or to see, you know. That's just, I mean, not everybody's a bad guy, but there's a lot of them out there. So just be cautious, okay?